All right, you guys ready?
Yeah.
Ready. Yay. Thank you so much for coming. My name is Kelly. I'm owner of Giasitaliankitchen, and this is part of the Marion Library's events each month, as you saw, how you register. But we have a special collaboration. Terry, owner of Swamp Fox Books, is back in the back of the room, and we've been doing this collaboration for several months to promote the bookstore, sell some books, cook some yummy food. So we did Ina Garten, we did Stanley, we did The Sopranos, although that I found like at a used bookstore. But that's what kind of kicked this off, was I found The Sopranos family cookbook from like the 80s or 90s or whatever, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this would be so fun. So that kind of got this started. And tonight is Giada. So she actually has a new cookbook out, super Italian. So none of you have it unless you pre-ordered it, but you know, some of the cookbooks in the past you may have in your inventory, but this is a really special cookbook of hers that just came out. So we'll talk about that in a little bit, but we're gonna do 2 of the recipes that are in there, and they are in your packet. So what you have in front of you, and if you didn't get one, there might be an extra over on the table, is the class packet. So for like my private offerings, this is typically what you would get. You would get the recipes, some information. There's about me, the library, the bookstore, downtown Marion, and lots of good stuff. So you can follow along. Those are yours to take. So feel free to scribble on them, and we're going to get started. Okay, so we're going to do 2 recipes. The first one is this Sicilian pesto, which what makes it Sicilian is really the tomatoes, and there's kind of, let's see, it's on page 4, a little different mix than a Tuscan, you know, Genovese basil pesto, but it's delicious. And that's with some shrimp. Actually, let me get this thing on. Oh, no, wait, no, I don't want to. I have one, I'm going to do one here. I'm going to do one in back just so that we have enough food, but I wanted to do it here so that you guys can see what's going on, right? So all those, are these on? These little side things? And then we're going to do the Calabrian Chili Oil. So this isn't, you wouldn't think this was like a dish on its own, which it's not, but you can put this in your fridge and like take it out and drizzle it on salmon. I mean, it is like so delicious. It has these dried, porcini mushrooms that we're going to turn into powder. And that's going to go with the chili oil. But what I thought would be cool that I tried at home was put the chili oil over the shrimp with the pesto with the pasta. So how does that sound? Doesn't that sound amazing?
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm getting mixed faces. Thumbs up, okay. Okay, so first I roasted some almonds, which is also kind of different. Normally in the Tuscan pesto you would have pine nuts, but you know, I've used walnuts, I've used actually dry roasted unsalted peanuts, because my son is allergic to tree nuts, but he can do peanuts. So, I mean, you can do whatever kind of nut really that you want in a pesto, but obviously the classic one is the pine nut. So, doing the almond is throwing a little twist in there. And we toasted them. So that's another thing. If you're making a pesto, even if you're doing the pine nuts, to toast them just for a couple minutes in the oven or in a pan really brings out that nuttiness, and you'll really taste that in your pesto if you change nothing else and you toast the nuts first. It really goes with that flavor. You'll be able to taste it. So, okay, let's start with the chili oil. So we're gonna do. I am gonna turn this on. So we have some shallots, which are similar to an onion, and we're going to put some in here and some back here. And we're gonna start sauteing these guys in some olive oil. I'm gonna put quite a bit. How much does she put in there? So the recipe that's in here is exactly what's in her book. I put the page number. Terry has them back if you would like to buy them tonight, so you can go look at a break or feel free to get up and go look at any point. Yep, see? Oh, yay, there's one sale right back there. Let's see, we're doing, like a cup of olive oil, which is really actually going to make this Calabrian chili oil, because we're going to put this together, then I'm going to put the dry ingredients together, and I'm going to double it. And then it's kind of weird, we strain the oil over into the herbs to kind of steep it. It's kind of cool how she did this. Okay, let me get this going. And you want this kind of at a medium heat. Oh, okay. Yeah, so this maybe just a minute to bring this to get it warm, and then we're going to just dump all those shallots in there. Then we'll do so she puts, and I always do this too if you've been to any of these classes before, do your onions or whatever you're using first before you do the garlic, because you don't want the garlic to burn and you don't want it to caramelize, because if it caramelizes, it gets sweet, which is delicious, but it'll totally change your dish. And if it burns, obviously you're not going to be happy, because you're going to have to start all over again. So the onions first, and then anyone have an induction stove? It's so cool. But I mean, this is portable, so I don't have to cook. They're pretty cool. But if you take the pan off, it literally turns itself off, because it's like, oh, safety, safety. Yeah. Okay. So let's get another bowl, and we're going to put the herbs in there. Actually, this is going to go for the pesto. Switch. Okay, so we're going to put all the dry stuff in here, and then with a fine mesh strainer, we're going to take this and dump it over there at the end. So we're going to put the dry herbs in here. So we're going to do, got red pepper flakes, rosemary, salt, oregano. I suppose I should measure. Oh, wait, here it is. If any of you are bakers, I know you measure, right? But if you're a cook, like I'm like, right? So, but since we're testing this recipe, I should probably follow the directions, right? Okay, so we're going to do 3 tablespoons of red pepper flakes. Now these are just regular red pepper flakes. She says, I think she's from either Calabria or Sicily, her family. If you can find Calabrian, any of this stuff, which I noted on the recipes, I did not. I'm just using regular. This is a lot of red pepper. Would you double that? Okay, so that's 1. Oh, no. Could you do me a favor? Could you go in that bag? There should be another thing of red pepper. Because we gotta quadruple this.
Oh, we're making the show. Oh, that's right.
Okay, well that was the end of that chopper.
Wow.
Thank you. I'm always Is anyone counting?
Oh, yeah, you've done well over 6.
Yeah, you've done well over 6.
That's 7.
Yeah, you've
You're on 7.
I'm kidding. Right, that was 9, I think, right?
7.
Don't you just put 6?
I think you just did 4. I did 2 here and 2 back there.
Oh,
okay.
Oh, you guys were like, oh, crap! Oh, crap! you put a couple tablespoons in there, right? But these are actually gonna kind of, crisp up. And when we strain them, it's gonna be really cool. Yours are going good.
So I have a question. What's the purpose of straining it over into the dry
Oh, you'll see.
ingredients? Okay,
It's magic.
okay.
It's magic. Because it's gonna dry, what's gonna happen is this will strain through and the oil will come in here and hydrate the herbs. The garlic and onions are gonna stay here and they're gonna dry and they're gonna crisp up.
Oh.
Then we're gonna combine them to put them over the dish. It's magic for sure. Promise. Okay, 2 teaspoons of salt, so 4. So the recipe that is in both of these that's in your packet, it's just the single recipe, right? So just FYI. Okay, so. Lemon. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. 1 teaspoon of sugar. This is actually odd to me, because like when I make marinara, at least my grandma's recipe, 0 sugar. So it's kind of weird that there's sugar in this, but that's what Giada says to do. We're doing 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, then dried oregano. And again, Sicilian if you have it, but I did not, so we're using regular. 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, fun fact about oregano, they tend to use more oregano in Italy than they do basil. Like on a pizza, if you're not doing a margarita, dried oregano or fresh oregano goes on almost every pizza, and not the basil. That was just kind of surprising to me when I first discovered that. There's oregano on a lot of things. Okay, so I'm just giving these a stir, but they're simmering, and we want these to go, I think, what did she say, maybe about 8 minutes or so. Till they're light brown, yeah, about 8 minutes, okay. Red pepper, salt, sugar, oregano, rosemary, dried rosemary. Now I was also thinking, excuse me, and oregano went up my nose. Sorry. I was thinking that I would substitute fresh rosemary, because if you can use fresh, I always try to substitute fresh for the dried, but like I'm doing this the way that she says, but I do want to try to do this, and if you do try this at home, maybe try fresh rosemary, because I think it would, I love rosemary, and I think it would give it even a bigger punch. So we're doing 4 teaspoons, 1 teaspoon times 4. Okay, so that's it for the dry, except for the mushroom powder. So this we're just gonna mix up and set aside. Now for the mushroom powder, and then we'll put the garlic in the So you could, I'm sure, find mushroom powder or tortellini online, or I don't think Heidi has it, but I did get these online. And then if you have a food processor, which if you've also been in my class, you know this is like my most favorite appliance on the planet, this will turn it into powder. So I need to think of a contest. So what I did is I brought, so if you do want to go home and make this, I have 2 to-goes of the mushroom powder. So 2 lucky people in the audience will get a little thing of mushroom powder, but I didn't like put stickers under your seats, so I don't. We'll have to decide how we're gonna do that. And the other thing is we have these 4 basil plants, so we'll give 2 of these also out to lucky winners to take home. Now, when you take them home, they're gonna look like death, right? So we're gonna take all these leaves off. But if you plant it in the ground, because it's past Mother's Day, if you plant it in the ground, I promise you it will get as high as this island. Even if it looks like death when you take it home today. Okay, here we go. So if there's some chunks left, I think it's probably fine. I'm gonna just do this one more time. Did I have, yeah, question?
Where do you get, you said you got the dried mushrooms online, where do you find those?
I hate to say it, but like Amazon. Now, one thing that we can talk about of the book is actually part of how she, she talks about the story of how she gets to the book. Part of the story is trying to find healthier ingredients in the United States because we use pesticides and antibiotics and all sorts of crap on our food and additives and preservatives. And in Italy, most European countries, it's not allowed. And so much wholesome, much healthier, much less chemicals that you're putting in your body. And so she actually has a website where she sells imported products. So if you look in the book, you can find that. She does have a lot of really good stuff. So like this, it's called colatura. It's instead of anchovy paste, it's anchovy extract. So like she carries weird stuff, but like people use anchovies all the time over in Italy to cook with, even in a pasta dish. So what was your question? So she has the porcini mushrooms on her website. I didn't know if they'd get here in time, so that's why, like, Amazon, I know, Jiffy on the spot, right? But, yes, so she has imported everything. It's a nice site. Okay, loud noise. Okay, I'm gonna put, this is starting to go. Let's do some garlic. Oh, you turn it down. Okay, so we are doing 6 garlic cloves. So also, if you've been in my class, you know what this is, right? The garlic that I buy, the raw cloves, whole cloves with nothing added to it. And then this is my jar that I have taken good extra virgin olive oil, and actually I put it in here as well, or the big one, and mince them up, put them in here, and you cover, or fill to cover with that olive oil and stick this in the freezer. And this will last for months. And then you do have fresh garlic that you can just spoon on here and put in your stir fry or whatever you're making. There's no preservatives, there's no citric acid, there's no bleh. And as soon as you crunch that clove, you're releasing the good antioxidants and good flavors. So anything that's sitting on the shelf at the grocery store has been chopped months ago, right? And it's sitting on a shelf, it's being preserved, it's icky. So don't buy that. Don't buy that. So you can get the whole cloves, you can get them at Hy-Vee, you can get them at Sam's or Costco, little bag or a big bag, and just mince them, fill with olive oil, stick it in the freezer, and then that's your preservation, right? So much better. All right, so back to our dried ingredients. So porcini powder, 1.5 teaspoons. be able to do the math in my head, but I'm not going to because I'm nervous. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a half. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So now we've got all of our dried. That is a lot of herbs,
That is.
but we've got a quadruple batch. Okay, so that's
Kelly?
gonna sit over there.
Kelly?
Yeah. Question?
About how many mushrooms did you start with before? Was it 2 cups to get down to the few tablespoons you needed?
Well, we've got this much left.
Okay.
So it was probably,
You threw the whole bag in there?
no,
Oh,
we still have this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Couple
I would
cups.
say maybe 1 heaping cup would,
Okay.
but that almost would do a double recipe.
Right.
So maybe a heaping half a cup
Okay.
of the dried mushroom to get to the powder for a teaspoon and a half. But it depends on how big the mushrooms are too,
Of
right?
course.
Yeah. That's an approximation. All right. We're gonna let these go now that the garlic's in just for a little bit.
Oh, that
So
smells
they get
so
light brown.
good.
And it's gonna be like tea, right? Because this is like piping hot, and it's gonna just ooze over there and then just steep in the yours. Okay, so we're done with this little guy. And I did already make the pasta, so if you're following along on either of these recipes, I made the pasta because I figured you guys don't really need to watch me do that, right? So, or get hot and noisy. Awesome. Okay, so let's just check ourselves here. We've got red pepper flakes, salt, sugar, oregano, rosemary, mushroom powder. In here, olive oil, shallots, garlic clove, and then this, the colatura goes in at the end.
And what
I'll
is
take
that?
that out. The anchovy
Oh, the anchovy,
extra.
okay.
Extra, yeah, anchovy extra. So you want to put these, after this steeps and cools down, in a glass jar. Do not put it in plastic. That's nasty because it'll, the heat will pull that plastic out, and then you'll be like eating the plastic, right? So glass jar. I love these for, as you can see, these little ball jars for the garlic, sauce, soup, and the screw top. You just put this in the freezer. Well, I'm not going to put this in the freezer, but this in the freezer. You don't need to can it and seal it. You just screw top, throw it in there, it's fine. Okay. So have that. Let's just check here. Yeah, I think we're just kind of waiting for this to brown a little more, but not dark brown. And then we're gonna pour. How's yours doing? Yours is looking good too. I would keep the Teflon. Yours, you're almost lighter than mine. Just a tiny bit. You get a little bit of brown. Okay. Pesto. I love pesto. Do you guys love pesto?
Yeah.
Love, love, love. So I have 2 different versions of classic pesto that I just love. So I do a Genovese with the basil and the pine nuts or whatever nuts you need to use. But I add lemon juice and black pepper, which adds just a really nice balancing twist. So that's like my classic pesto. And then my crazy pesto is take out the cheese, take out the pine nuts, add walnuts, add maple syrup.
Ooh.
Think about that over butternut squash
Oh, that would
or
be good.
salmon.
Oh.
Oh, that'd be good on a salmon.
So this, I'm super excited because this is like a new discovery, this Sicilian pesto that Giada has in her cookbook. It's so good and it's so different from either of those. So I'm excited for you to try it. So before we jump into this actually, Terry, do you want to come up? Yeah. Let's introduce Terry from the Swamp Fox Bookstore. Yay! So we met, what, maybe?
Oh, it's last fall.
Yeah.
Yeah, I finally was able, I had a night off, and I was able to go to the demonstration.
Oh, that's right, you came to a class, that's right. Awesome.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's talk about the book.
Yeah, so, we're located at 1375 7th Avenue, which is in that building where the hearing aid place is, Livingston, right next to Philip Simon's, across the street, Cheesecake, kitty corner from Pizza Hut, basically the corner of 14th and 7th. We have a good selection of cookbooks. I'm a big foodie, and I love cooking myself, and we have a lot of food memoirs as well. This is Giada's new cookbook, super Italian, and it's about eating Italian in a healthy way.
Yeah.
So the introduction is filled with all these different kinds of power foods and things that are healthy for you, like olive oil and citrus, and how to incorporate those into your diet. So a lot of these dishes in here, especially the entrees, have a lot of vegetables in them, I've noticed. And it's all about balance. She also talks about making sure you're moving and getting exercise as well, because that's part of a healthy lifestyle. So a lot of people think you can't eat Italian healthily because of carbs, but yes,
You can, you totally can.
yeah. There's also desserts in here, and there are drinks for those of you that like a nice cocktail or appetizers. So it covers pretty much every course you would want to make.
Another favorite part of mine in here was at the beginning, she talks about some of like Italian superfoods, like olive oil, things that are like staples, but they're so good for you. And then also, I didn't flag it. What she keeps in her pantry at all times. So like I thought that was cool. And actually I think I have almost everything.
That's good.
I think I was missing like one item. But so that you can make a quick dinner by pulling things together out of your fridge, freezer, or pantry. I think she has maybe some things in her fridge too. But if you keep these staples on hand, you can whip something up.
I also noticed a lot of the vegetables she talks about using are coming into season right now.
Yes,
So
yes.
tomatoes, asparagus, zucchini will be up soon, peppers. And so great for your own garden, using food from your own garden, or going to local farmers markets. I think anything there. So the farmers market has started here in Marion on Saturdays down at Wildwood. So something to keep in mind as well as the weather is getting nicer.
Yeah, so she has a big stack back there. So please do go take a look at the book and grab your credit card.
How much are the books going for?
$35, and then there's beautiful photography throughout. There's enough recipe, picture for every recipe, but she
Almost.
There's good photography in this too, which is important.
Yes. Oh, if a cookbook doesn't have pictures, like it goes back on the shelf.
Yeah.
For me. So this is a beautiful cookbook, hardcover, beautiful pictures. It is packed. How many pages is it? Packed with recipes.
272.
Yeah. So I mean, like you want this book, and yeah, healthy options for Italian cooking. Thank you.
Tell them about that 10%.
Oh, 10% of all the sales are donated back to the public library as a thank you for using this space.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Okay, so I'm kind of wrong. Are you wrong? Okay, so I'm dumping mine. So here's what we're doing, guys. We've got the 5-mesh strainer and all the goodies are getting caught in the strainer, and the olive oil, which is piping hot, not too hot, because you don't ever want to use olive oil like to really deep fry something or broil it. Actually, we're still going to use that for the shrimp, but since all that's in there is onions, olive oil, and garlic, it'll be totally fine for the shrimp. You ready for that? Yeah.
So Kelly, I have a question. You said that the olive oil you don't ever want to use for deep frying. Why is that?
Because it's too high for temperature. It'll burn. It loses its nutritional value, and it definitely, like, you can taste that it's kind of not great.
Thank you.
So you just want, like, I use, if I want to, I mean, I don't fry, but if I want to use, like, a broiling, avocado oil is great for that. Just usually olive oil would go, raw on a salad or drizzled at the end on top of some vegetables. But I use olive oil for, you know, to start my sauces, and to do something like this, and I'm at like a medium temperature, medium high, so it's like at a simmer, but it's not at a bubbling, broiling, frying. Okay, so, I think behind right there might be one more fine mesh. I want to spread these out. So once these kind of strain through, I want to spread these out so that they cool and dry. So that's kind of where the fry comes in, because I minced these up really small, so they are going to get crispy. There we go, okay. Then, spread them out. Then we're going in here and we're gonna mix this. Can you guys smell anything?
Oh,
yeah. Yes.
I wanna make sure.
Smells wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yum. Okay, so we're gonna let that hydrate and we're gonna set this aside for now. All right. Let's head to Pesto. All right, so we're gonna make a couple batches of this. I'm gonna just take these leaves off. Actually, do you want basil plant? Yeah. Okay. Are these? Okay, yeah. Okay, so let's take all like the big leaves off of there, so that we leave the little ones, so that we can try to revive.
Do you put the stem in there too, or no?
That much stem, yeah, it's fine. So sometimes I have pesto making parties. We've been having one of those in a while. Because my basil plants, well, like literally they're like this big, but I have like 8 of them, and so there's a lot of pesto being made.
Do they like the sun or the shade?
I'm sorry.
Do they like the sun or the shade?
Oh, hot sun, super hot sun. Like a day like yesterday, because they like humid and hot. They don't want to be in full sun every hour of the day, like late afternoon sun. They might mine sometimes start to burn if they're in there for too long. Yeah, we'll do all the plants, yeah. Just kind of the big leaves. But in general, full sun.
And then watering, like a little.
So they like to be well drained. So you could do it in a pot, but if you do it in a pot, you need, like this pot is the one that came in the store. If you were gonna transplant this, it needs to be, like just for this one plant, like at least 4 times this big. Like bigger, like double than what you think is the size the basil wants, because it needs to root and it needs to drain. And if it gets waterlogged, it's gonna die in like days. So you want, thank you. I put mine in the ground because then in my garden bed, so then I know it's getting drained. And I can tell if it starts to kind of wilt, I'll water it a little extra than the rain, but that's really your best bet, is in the ground. Okay, so we got our almonds, got our tomatoes, so I've got some grape tomatoes, cherry or grape. I'm thinking she's doing the little ones because we're obviously not taking the skin off, right? So you want something, like you don't want a big tomato because then the skin really is gonna be kind of tough in here and it's not gonna, I don't think, grind up as well. So like when I do my veggie tomato sauce, I also use cherry or grape, not big ones, and I roast them. Roast them before I put them in here, but we're not even roasting these, so you definitely want the little tomatoes. The basil, or garlic. And salt, she also does put a little red pepper in the pesto as well. Hope you guys like red peppers. It's not super hot. It's like a little in the back of your taste buds hot, not super, super hot. The olive oil, the cheese. So I'm using, actually, could you see in that left one under the coffee maker, there's another olive oil. Okay, so she calls for Parmigiano Reggiana. I don't have any because I use pecorino. So again, if you've been in my class, you've heard this spiel before, but my family's from Tuscany, and in that region, the pecorino romano is just more prevalent because the pecorino comes from a sheep. Parmigiano Reggiana comes from a cow. And so it's just kind of like the topography of where you are in the country. You know, like if you were in Texas, you're going to get different food than you would in Iowa, right? It's just kind of regional of what grows where and the animals. So I grew up on this. It's delicious. You're not going to taste the difference. If you did a side-by-side taste test, this is a little nuttier and a little saltier. It's absolutely delicious. But that's what I have, so that's what we're going to throw in there, and I guarantee it's going to be amazing. So let's get
Can you say the name of the cheese again?
Pecorino Romano.
Pecorino?
Pecorino, P-E-C, O-R.
That's
So
from
the
what?
Romano is the region. So like Parmigiano Reggiana is around Rome. The Reggiana, that's a region. The Parmesan is the cheese. So Pecorino Romano, the Pecorino is the cheese, Romano is the region. So there's Pecorino Sicilian, Pecorino Calabrian, you know, for Umbrian, you know, all the different, I think there's 20 regions. But the Pecorino is the cheese.
So pecorino is goat or sheep?
Sheep.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna do some almonds, toasted almonds. I actually triple this. What did I say? I'm gonna do double or triple? Or triple. I think I did triple for the, I was gonna do quadruple, but I did triple for the almonds. So I think we're stuck doing triple, because I already toasted these. Okay, we're gonna do, yeah, the tomatoes. So pints of tomatoes. So we're gonna do like 1.5 here. Right? And then, she does not use very much basil, so it's 1 cup, which is just like 1 cup of lightly packed. When I make like the Genovese basil, you guys see this? Switch this. I put all of my ingredients in, and I don't have the tomatoes, and then I pack this large food processor with like as much basil as I can possibly jam in there. That's how I make the regular, like a classic one. So this is also kind of interesting that it's just this little cup of basil. That's all it's going in
Free to
there.
add all you want.
But there's so many flavors, right? Like it'll be good. The garlic. So again, I'm using my minced garlic. It's got the olive oil in it, but the olive oil always is going to go in at the end because you're going to mix up your drizzling olive oil to get the paste, to get the consistency that you want. So the fact that this is in there is fine. Okay, so we got that. And actually, it's only 1.5. A little more of that.
Well, I'm trying to come. That's true.
And then 1.5 teaspoons of salt. So I use salt or sea salt or Himalayan versus like a table salt. But you can use whatever you would like. Okay, 1/2 teaspoon of the red pepper, so not much. Yell out if I'm screwing this up, guys. Anyone, hopefully you're following along. Yeah, that's it. I think that's it, right? Almonds, tomatoes, basil, garlic, salt, red pepper. And then we'll give this a whirl. And I'm gonna grab another spatula. So that we can pulse and then scrape and pulse a little more. There we go. Now we're gonna get a little olive oil going. I am gonna put the cheese in and then get the olive oil going, but I wanted some of this in there. There we go. Get that. Down. Okay. Okay, let's put the cheese in.
Kelly, where do you buy your good olive oil?
Yeah, so, I mean, this one is that brand, like Gustav, whatever, that's at Hy-Vee. It's really not the where do you buy it, it's the label. So, we actually, Terry and I did an olive oil tasting class at the bookstore a few months ago, and we tasted, I think, like 5 olive oils, and we made charcuterie trays. That was lovely. I think we're gonna do that again in fall. But it's about, one, the container. In general, the plastic is not gonna be good quality. You want the tin or the glass, a dark glass. But more importantly, it's what's on the label. If it doesn't say extra virgin olive oil, there's probably other oils in it that aren't even olive oils. If it doesn't say cold pressed or first cold pressed, it's probably been heated, most definitely been heated, which also is taking some of those nutritional properties out, it's changing the taste. If it doesn't say first cold press, it also is not following the guidelines of the time period from harvest to press. Because over there, if it's real stuff and it's imported, like within, I think it's 72 hours of that olive coming off the tree, they're cold pressing it, seeds and all, they're not heating it, and you're getting the real stuff with no other crap in it. If it doesn't, so it's really about the label. Just like, you know, when you're buying food and you're trying to eat healthier, you gotta turn the label, and if you can't pronounce stuff, like put it back, right? If it doesn't say on the back extra virgin olive oil, like put it back. If it says refined, guaranteed there's other crap in there. Guaranteed. Do not, that's like lighter, not lighter fluid, what is it? What's the Paul Revere, the lanterns? The oil in the lantern, I'm not kidding, like, it's not regulated. Extra virgin olive oil, it does not say that, like, yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of a long answer, but
No,
it's about the label, and where does it come from? It could come from Spain, and Greece has fabulous olive oils. It doesn't have to be Italy. But the other thing is, if it has 5 countries listed on the label, those olives have traveled before they've been pressed. They're old, they're aged, they're prunes. Like, one country and those few things, and then you're gonna get a good olive oil.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Me or her?
Yeah, go ahead.
The Persona, the.
Oh, Persona.
The good stuff.
Yeah.
It's at Target.
Yeah.
And I found it at Walmart. And at Walmart, they have mild, medium, and robust, and organic. So they had like a whole shelf of them, so I want to make sure you know
Okay.
that it's Cedar
Yeah,
Rapids.
I mean, my 2 favorite brands, I mean, these are fine. There's a store up in Independence, Iowa, the Cook Kitchen, that I do classes in. They have imported oils that they're in barrels, like you can, like, it's so cool. And they have like, I think 30 flavors of olive oil, no sugar added, like they're just infused, that's fun. But that's imported, it's fabulous olive oil. And then Partana, that the lady in the back, that's an imported from Italy. You can get that online, you can get it, yeah, like literally in the past few months, it appeared at Target, and I was like, Oh my gosh, but it's in a tin, it's called Partana, P-A-R-T-A-N-A. Fantastic, it's expensive, like good stuff's expensive, right? And it's like any food, you buy crap, it's cheaper. Anyway, okay, let's get the cheese in there. So we're doing, I'm cooking, okay.
Kelly, I have a curiosity, are you familiar with Pike's Creek infused olive oils?
I am not.
Okay.
I was just curious, where's that from? Where is that from?
It's Pike's Creek, they're usually down at the Casarecce Farmers Market in the summer.
Oh, they're local.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, I haven't. I'll have to look for that.
It's got balsamic vinegars too that are amazing, but I was just curious
Okay.
about what kind of olive oil you're using.
Where, do you know where they come from?
Pickle Creek. Pickle Creek, yes, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I like their infused ones. You know where they're from? It's not far, I don't think. As far as I think that.
I'm gonna get this thing going back on here. Do you wanna do these back here, that, the other hand? I can get them, we can get this. Yeah, we might as well get these going so we can get folks eating.
Wonderful.
Yes. So let's get the pan on first with some oil on like a medium heat. And then we're just gonna like salt and pepper the shrimp. And is that all of it? That's all of it?
Yes.
Okay. Let's do half of it because then the pesto's gonna end up actually with the pasta. So we're gonna do half of it. Yep, and then I'll take the other half. Okay, back to the pesto. So you can pulse this, but you do kind of want to do the on button because you want the almonds to be nice and crunched up. And the tomatoes. Okay. How could we do like a raffle? Not a raffle. No, I have. Pick 2 people. Oh, do you have? Can you figure it out? Okay. Well, because I was gonna say, before we do that one, who wants to taste the pesto? Okay, I saw you two first. Pink and black. Come on up.
Okay.
You're gonna taste and you're gonna tell me, like, do we need more salt? Or, like, so we don't have lemon, because that would be the acid, but we're kind of playing with the flavors. The red pepper's the heat. Probably not gonna say, let's add more red pepper, right? I think we're maxed out on red pepper. Okay, so come on over here. I'm just gonna give you a little spoon. And just down the hatch, and then tell me what you think. Thank you. So what? Let me just back. I'm tasting that down the back of my stomach. I like it. I think a little more cheese.
Can't turn down cheese.
Yeah. Okay. It is awesome. Actually, they have to go back. Yeah, they really tasty. Salt, yeah, just do those. And salt.
I like that.
Okay, so we're gonna get the shrimp going. This is really kind of pulling it together now. We've got just olive oil, shrimp, salt, and pepper, and we're gonna end up combining the shrimp with the pesto, and then with the pasta, and then this will be at the very end. Now this, it's not really good stuff. I'm sure they're gonna be awful. Okay, one more cheese. Sorry. These little bowls. Okay, I'm gonna do cheese first before I add more salt, because the cheese has salt, and then I'm gonna taste it again. Is that about all you guys were kind of craving, was just a little more? Okay. Thanks for tasting.
I enjoyed it, thank you. We're ready for another. Really, this is very spicy. touching heat at the end, as in the back of your tongue. The chili oil gets done.
All right. It was pretty good.
What kind of shrimp did you do?
You know what, just, no, it doesn't need to go on, it's like, I'll just drop this in, and that's, just to loosen up for Okay, so while those are cooking, I'm gonna just make this other batch.
So you're just cooking the shrimp in the pan with the leftover olive oil and garlic that was in there?
Yeah, I didn't rinse it, I added a little more olive oil, but I figured it'll be fine. And the onions and, garlic that was in there. Okay, so. Okay, so, tomatoes. Oh, hey, Jim. Okay, so on the back page of your packet is our wine for tonight. So this was on sale at Hy-Vee, so I snatched it up. I've never tried it, but it looks fabulous. So there's tasting notes on there. It's kind of a medium body, heavy dry red, which is what I gravitate towards. So if you would like some, they will come around and just a little, yeah, just a little splash. Do you like it? You guys like the wine? Yeah. Okay, so I'm just doing a second batch, so keep me honest here. Almonds, tomatoes, basil, garlic, salt, red pepper, cheese.
Yeah.
You been there? But. I know that it's well.
Okay, so these have kind of crisped up, we're dumping them back in. As part of the. It didn't crisp as I wanted it to. I mean, the recipe says to, just leave in the fine mesh strainer. Yeah, I mean, I think if you wanted to just like set it and forget it, what I would have probably done is put it on a cookie sheet and like stuck it back there for a longer period of time, because it probably just needs more time, honestly. Dry, yeah, just, you know, like after, yeah, just kind of dry. No. But, I mean, you could definitely try the air fryer. But when I did this last time, I actually did this for, like, the waiting part for much longer. I'm gonna keep this scratch out. Yeah, these are done. This is a lot of Calabrian Chili Garlic Oil. But, like I said, it'll keep in your fridge. She says for a month or so. I've had mine at home in the fridge for probably over a month now when I first made this. And we just used it last week and it was amazing. It actually, like most things, gets better over time, right? But it's it'll be fine in the fridge for I would say well over a month. Okay, I think these are good now. Awesome. Okay. So we are going to. No, actually, I mean, you can bring it over. But we're going to keep them separate. Here, let me get this over. We're going to do two batches. And we're going to put pesto into there.
Especially when it's the rice one, but organic.
Yes, I used to have
Half of them in the refrigerator, because it's the other half of that one.
So I'm putting all of this pesto in there, and then we're going to put the pasta in.
well, yes, if it's not right, no. But if I not too many, I like it better.
Okay, so we're going to mix this up and then put a little bit of the pasta water in there. And then add the pasta. And then we're going to go to town. You guys hungry?
Yeah. Smells great.
Thank you.
So why do you add the pasta water back in? A little bit of that? Why
Just a little, because it helps the sauce actually bind to the pasta.
Okay. Thank you.
And I'm going to add it here just to it will actually add a little more volume as well. And I want to do that before I add the pasta. So, I bring this over. Now what I did was to keep the strainer, and then I do this when the pasta's done so it doesn't stay in the water, because then obviously it gets gross. But then I'm going to give it a dunk to loosen this up.
Is your water still hot, Kelly, to keep it hot?
It's warm, yeah. So it'll warm, good point. It'll warm the pasta up a little bit, but it's gonna break it up a little bit. What I don't wanna do, and I know that this is probably very controversial, some people do this, is to, just dump it in a bowl and add some olive oil to break it up. But then you're coating your pasta with the olive oil, and then the sauce is not gonna coat the pasta. So you're kind of fighting your sauce by doing that. Let me grab those right here. Thanks. A little water. So maybe just like a half a cup at a time, and then stir and. If you want it thinner, you can certainly add more.
So they give you the ingredients.
Now the other thing that a true Italian is gonna put the pasta in there. This never goes on your plate bare. You mix, then you serve, so that obviously this is ginormous, but you always want to put your pasta in the sauce. Okay, last, I'll let this simmer stand in here. Last piece over here is a half a teaspoon of this anchovy extract. So let's
Does it smell fishy?
a little bit. I mean, it's like 100%.
Fish oil.
Like that's all it's in the fish. Yeah.
It is good for you.
Anchovy extract. Yeah, so like it's similar to an anchovy paste. I've actually never used this, but this is
Oh, yeah.
so then that adds
No, I'm
in.
not.
Okay, let's take the lamb and just throw them back there somewhere, and we'll serve going this way. And then we can pull, plates it out and fork it there. Okay, so if you want to come up, if you're hungry, we will give you a little taste. And if you want the oil on, just let us know. If you don't, that's really fine. Or we could put a little dab on the side.
So that's.
Well, yeah. Plate and a napkin and a fork, and then they are. Okay, come on. That's because he's from East Coast. Oh, yeah. 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 See, I know. Potential is. Okay. I will be here. Hey, here, do you want to, do this part or that part? So this is gonna be, okay. I haven't mixed this yet. Let's start that. So, yeah, just. East Coast coffee drink. Okay. And we call it sauce. Yeah. Yeah, no, isn't that funny though? I think it's a castelli. I actually could not find, so that word that's on there, the casarecce, that's the pasta shape. I couldn't find it. She has it on her website, but again, I wasn't sure if it would get you, so I just thought, company. So that it had ridges, if I wanted something with ridges, right? And places from sauce. I'm sorry? Great, oh, gravy, yeah. I mean, I can you guys, who tasted the chili oil yet? Yeah. Oh, it's very good. Isn't it amazing? I'll try this. Now that I see that. It's so good. Did you imagine this on like salmon or even on a steak? Or some roasted vegetables? Like you could put this on anything. It's so good. I got that. It's spicy. It got hotter. So, this, maybe 20, I don't know, 12 and she came out with one of her other books, and she did a book tour. And I went to one of these, so I got my picture taken.
I would have to. One of the last offers.
That's my, thank you. What do you guys think? We have more, and I'm gonna make this second batch here, so if you would like seconds, feel free to come back up. So in your package, so let me just go through those real quick while you're enjoying. So right after the recipes on page 5 is some information about me. So Gia's Italian Kitchen. So at a minimum, if you could please just go onto your social medias. I'm on all of them: Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I have a YouTube channel. I have a podcast. Like I'm trying to spread everywhere. Please go and subscribe and follow and like and share and comment and do all those things just to help me grow. But if you are interested in doing more, I do private dinner parties where actually we could do them here. But usually I come to your house, or I could do them virtually if you have people, across the country that you don't see as often, and you create a custom menu, and we have a private video, and everyone's making, the same dishes, and then there's a dinner party at the end. So if it's in person, I would come to you, and we do the cooking experience, and then you have a beautiful dinner at the end. The other product offering is team building. So if your company has a culture program, team building or cooking experience is really fun. This is a great space. We can fit up to 70 people in here. With a great island, so it's a really fun space if your company doesn't have a corporate kitchen. I can also do those kind of hybrid. The largest one I did, I had 180 people in 6 different cities. So we had the Cedar Rapids people here in this room, and then we videoed the other 5 locations, and it was like this progressive dinner where it was so fun. We did an appetizer and a cocktail at each location, and each of the locations cooked their what they picked, and we just kind of rotated the video so that it was this progressive dinner for this really large team that's all over the country. So lots of fun options. So if you have any questions, my email's on here, or feel free to stop by after class. Yeah. So so I'm not through culinary school, but I mean I grew up in the kitchen with so I'm I don't want to say self-made. My grandma made them, right? Yeah. So, grew up in the kitchen, learned all this from my mom and my grandma. Yeah.
I don't know.
Rachel and I split this. I would recommend you to like your it's actually on my website. I probably, go to my website. I probably have marriage. They're on my website. The garlic lemon. Garlic lemon. But I use the little jar, so I feel like I do. Should I roll it? One out at a time in the fridge. It's only gonna last 2 weeks. I'm not excited. Okay, so sticky
about
notes
making it.
on the backs of
Oh,
your
no, I
chairs.
don't, no.
If you have a sticky note on the back of your chair, you can come up and choose to take the mushroom powder or a basil. Oh, the Post-it note will say. Sorry, my bad. You get it.
What about if there's nobody in the chair next to you?
If nobody's there, you can take it.
Yeah.
I give you permission.
Okay. I have a question.
Yeah.
My basil, I put it in my garden, but I have irrigation.
Yeah, it was a plant.
Does it get like that? There you go.
Later.
Yeah, you're leaving it too long. You need to harvest it. Make your pesto. Because I used to leave mine until like end of September, and that's almost too late. 'Cause
I didn't know if it was taking too much water with irrigation.
I would not.
I don't know.
I don't think I know.
For me, when I've seen that happen, it's like my plant is starting to die. Run its course. Yeah, so I would say like end of August is kind of prime time to make
Do you
pesto.
grow some of your own on the inside?
Yeah, I've got a huge and a lot of basil to make a lot of pesto. And then I put pesto in those small jars. Okay, so pesto is great. So I just take all the basil and I make a bunch of pesto and stick it in
But they don't.
And it's different soil, right? Everything is dry climate.
Right, what they've done there research, and it's the same soil as somewhere in Greece.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
And so they, I mean, it's an amazing place.
That's fun. It really just